Nearly two-thirds of Americans do not get a full 8 hours of sleep. Did you hear that? Now, one researcher is sounding the alarm about what he calls a silent sleep loss epidemic. He is scientist Matthew Walker. He's devoted more than 20 years to studying sleep and its impact on health and disease, so he knows what he's talking about. He teaches neuroscience and psychology at the University of California, Berkeley, and he's published more than 100 scientific studies.
Walker's new book is Why We Sleep, Unlocking the Power of Sleep and Dreams. He says sleep deprivation has a catastrophic impact on our health, work productivity, and children's education. The book is published by Scribner, an imprint of Simon & Schuster, a division of CBS. Matt Walter, good morning.
Good morning.
The greatest challenge that America faces in the health arena?
I think it's fast becoming one of the greatest public health challenges that we now face. Every disease that is killing us in developed nations, from cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, stroke, even suicide, they all have significant and causal links to insufficient sleep. And if you look at the epidemiological data, it's quite clear too, short sleep equals a shorter life. It predicts all-cause mortality.
What's the link?
The link actually is many-fold. So upstairs in the brain, we know that it creates a toxic protein buildup, a protein that's called beta amyloid. That toxic sticky protein is related to Alzheimer's. Downstairs in the body, it demolishes your immune system if you're not getting sufficient sleep. And it also activates stress chemistry that leads to cardiovascular disease, increases in also cancer-related molecules. You also want to eat more when you're not getting sufficient sleep.
So you're fatter.
So you gain weight more quickly. Also, even if you're exercising, we used to think of sleep as the third pillar of good health. That's not true. It's actually the foundation on which those two other things sit, diet and exercise.
What's so great about your book is it's research-based. It's epidemiologically based. 1/3 of adults take naps. What does the research say about that?
Well, naps are a double-edged sword. You have to be quite careful. Firstly, ask yourself, why are you napping? Sleep is not like the bank, it turns out. You can't accumulate a debt and then pay it off either by napping or oversleeping at the weekend. It's an all or nothing event. Naps also can be dangerous in the sense that during the day, the longer that we're awake, we build up sleepiness, and that's good. It's healthy. It means that we'll fall asleep and stay asleep well at night. But if you nap during the afternoon, it's almost like a valve on a pressure cooker. You release some of that sleepiness, so then it makes it that much more difficult to fall asleep and stay asleep.
But it adds to your productivity and you have good feeling as well.
So naps, if you can make them regular, can have productivity benefits. And in fact,
you say don't nap after 3 p.m.
If you're struggling with sleep in the evening, or if you can't nap regularly, the advice is don't nap at all. But naps do have some benefits to them. NASA figured this out back in the 1980s. They called it the NASA nap culture. It improved work productivity by about 34%, overall alertness by about 50%. So if they're regular, that's good.
You write about sleeping pills, the bad, and the ugly. Tell us why.
Well, firstly, sleeping pills do not produce naturalistic sleep. I wish they did, but at this stage they don't. They're a class of drugs that we call the sedative hypnotics, and sedation is not sleep. So you're simply removing consciousness, you're not producing naturalistic sleep. The second aspect is that they've been related to a higher risk of mortality, of death, and a high risk of cancer too.
So just make sure we get to this. So what do you do to make sure you get as much sleep as you should?
So I think there are probably 5 key tips. Firstly, keep it regular. Go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time, no matter what. The second is darkness. We're actually a dark-deprived society. So at night, try to dim your lights, only put half of the lights on, you don't need them all. Limit screen time. That allows that sort of melatonin hormone to build up and get you to sleep. Keep it cool. Bedroom
65
temperature.
degrees, you said.
65 to 67. It's strange, isn't it?
I'm turning it down, yeah. I've been doing that, yeah.
But your body needs to drop its temperature to get to sleep, and you can help it to do that. That's the third thing, temperature. The fourth is actually walk it out. Don't stay in bed if you've been awake, because then at that point your brain learns the association between your bedroom being about being awake And many people will say to me, you know, I'm sort of falling asleep on the couch with television. I get into my bed and I'm wide awake and I don't know why, because you've learned the association between bedroom being about wakefulness. Get out, go to a different room, dark light, dim light, read a book, only return when you're sleepy, and then you'll relearn the association between your bed equaling sleepiness. Finally, and it makes me deeply unpopular, no caffeine after 2 p.m. and no nightcap. Alcohol is probably one of the most misunderstood chemicals. It's also a sedative. You're just knocking yourself out. It's not naturalistic sleep. And it also fragments your sleep. You wake up many more times throughout the night. And it also blocks your dream sleep.
Yeah.
So no alcohol.
And you
either.
didn't mention food.
Food, the advice right now is don't go to bed too full, don't go to bed too hungry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Sleep cures a lot of things. Yeah.
Why We Sleep is on sale now.